everyone, Big Pauly back for another video. And guess what? It's time for What's in the Poundland bin. If you're wondering why I'm wearing a hat inside the room, I go ginger whenever I don't wear it. So I thought, I'll wear my hat, then I won't get mistaken for Ed Sheeran. Yes, so today we are going to dig down deep, find out what on earth is this in this Poundland bin, and then review the shit out of it. Right, okay, so here we go then. I've swished the old titles around a little bit so we can, some of the ones at the bottom, so we can whoop them up a little bit and just twisting them around. So let's do it. Poundland bin. I am your father. I am Darth Bin. Yes, here we go. Oh, look, it's the trash bin. I wonder if anything will pop in there today. So here we go. Still haven't got the Star Wars stickers on it, you lazy bastard. It's time to have a dig down deep. And let's swish about a bit. Let's go down here in the back. Oh, I do love this Poundland bin business. What have we got then? Oh, okie dokie. How the bloody hell did that get in there? I've seen it. I think I saw it the day that I bought it from Poundland. There might be a review actually. We're not doing that one. Let's do another one. Oh, another good luck spin. Oh dear me, how did that get back in there? If I move that, maybe tip right down there. Oh yes! Oh, I've got a second one. That's the first time we've done that. Okie dokie. Oh, and I can feel that this one is actually still sealed. So I know I haven't watched that one. Okie dokie, here we go. Right. Mankind may fall. Heroes will rise. Transformers meets Doctor Who. Anyone? Robot Overlords. Robot Overlords. It looks like Transformers in London. Gillian Anderson and Ben Kingsley. Oh, it's got lots of special features as well. 86 minutes, so we're not going to be doing a lengthy one again. Okay. Well, I'm always up for something new. Probably be better than most of the new Transformers movies. Let's give it a go. Right, okay, as I said, this is one that I've actually seen before. If you go to my playlists for the Poundland reviews, you'll find it in there. But I'll stick a little card up here so you can click on that and then you can watch the review. It's not part of the What's in the Poundland bin, but it was the very first Poundland title that I actually reviewed because of the impressive cast, Henry Cavill, Sigourney Weaver and Bruce Willis. And watch my review, and I'm not getting rid of it, so I'm going to stick that up on the shelf with the rest of them. But in the meantime, let's get on with watching this week's Transformers in London. Right, okay, so Robot Overlords. So let's do it then. I suppose it would help if I took the bloody wrapping off first. Okay, let's try that again. Oh, what a dumbass. Oh, let's open it up. And look, we've got a lovely picture there. Oh, out you come, Disky Whiskey. Oh, looks nice and clean. Oh, look, hello, you can see me. Hello, hello, everybody. Right, let's go and stick it in the old... Oh, layer. Bam. Right, Transformers, robots in London. Okay, so disc is in. Lovely hot cup of English traditional tea. Oh, lovely. Let us begin. Lettuce? So I haven't got no lettuce. Right, okay, so robot overlords. What did I think? Pretty good, pretty damn good actually. I know they mark it up as Transformers meets Doctor Who, but I would say Transformers meets by Terminator, directed by Guy Ritchie, that sort of thing, on a very low budget, of course. So the basic synopsis of this movie is about this huge empire of robots that invade Earth. And this massive war engulfs. You don't see it, but they talk about it. But the war lasts for 11 days. And these robot overlords remain on Earth, but they enforce one rule, that everybody must stay indoors. No one is allowed to leave their houses. Okay, so the film starts out with this road at night time. This man emerges from the house, pissed off that, he's having to stay indoors, can't go out. And all of a sudden this massive robot walks down the road, and we get the familiar RoboCop type chant from, do you remember Ed 209? Was it Ed 209? You have 15 seconds to comply, that sort of thing. And they give them, like, I think it's 10 seconds to get back into the house. Or else you get blown to shit. Obviously, you got blown to shit. And all humans have these like little round dials behind their ears that all flash up with lights. It kind of keeps them in check and keeps them tracked by these big robot overlords. The main story is that Sean, which is Gillian Anderson's son in the film, is basically trying to find his dad, who's a pilot, and he's just completely gone missing. And Sean, like all type of like family children type films, there's has all these friends, kind of like Harry Potter style. You have the kind of like the dorky Rupert Grint comedian type character, plus you have the young girl that's kind of like only got eyes for the main lead, Sean in this case. Plus you also have the youngest kid, which kind of, he reminded me of that little kid that was in Love Actually. Kind of that same type of witty humour and laughter and that kind of thing. And one night they're tinkering about with this big battery, and it shorts out and throws one of them across the room and disables the earpiece, so they know that they can actually go outside. So obviously the only way of doing it is for all of them to get electrocuted. So they all obviously do this with the battery so that they can leave the house. After the dials are deactivated, they go to this school where he's received a hint that there's records there that might indicate where his dad's gone. Unfortunately, while there, they discover that these deactivated earpieces only kind of like last 13 hours or so. So they start flashing, and the robots start sort of like catching up with them again. After they leave this school, they're still going cross country to try and find Sean's dad. And they find themselves in this kind of safe house, mixed with like a resistance movement. Kind of, and it looked like Fight Club to start with, or that scene from Snatch with Brad Pitt, with a couple of fisty boxers hitting each other and that. But I suppose it's a bit of entertainment that keeps them sane. And while they were at this school, they were like, the kids were captured by Ben Kingsley, who I'll go into in a minute, and his like group of henchmen. And they had this big machine there that kind of like enables them to take this dial out and replace it with an updated new model. And Sean discovers eventually that the dial that he's been replaced with, he's actually able to control these giant robot overlords, with movement. So he moves his arms, and the arms of the robot overlords move as well. Moving further across country, across the rolling hills and that kind of stuff, they do eventually find Sean's father in this kind of like in the middle of this makeshift camp, Terminator type camp, this merry band of resistance fighters just surviving and cooking and all that kind of stuff near a quarry. And there's this big battle that ensues at the end over the skies with like Borg cubes. And also with the robots, there's like a row of robots along the top of this quarry that's found this camp and are just going to terminate everybody in the camp. And of course, there's only one thing that can stand in their way: a Spitfire. There's also this weird kind of like half child, half male, smooth skin, kind of like robot intermediate. Weird, I can't explain it. But it's kind of like an intermediate between the robots and the humans. Towards the end, Sean manages to like control these ships and crash the ships into other ships and that kind of thing. The Spitfire comes down, blowing up all kinds of shit. And it kind of ends a low-key but a very satisfying Independence Day style ending. Do you remember at the ending when the mothership exploded and all the fireworks came down? It's like all these cube ships exploding and bits falling down, and it kind of reminded me of that. Okay, so how about the cast? Right, well, you've got Ben Kingsley, who's playing this kind of like bridge between the humans and the robot overlords. And what sets him apart is that he's got this like Nazi type red armband on, so you know that they're sort of like part of the overlords. And he speaks for humans, basically in a way controls them, tells them what will happen if they don't adhere to, the word of the robot overlords. And sometimes he's able to avoid people being killed, with a authorization override type of thing. Gillian Anderson plays Sean's mum. Kind of had to get used to her a little bit because I'm not used to watching her with an English accent. I know she's done British programmes, British TV shows, but I mean, only last night I was watching an episode of The X-Files, so it's kind of like weird watching her with an English accent. And after a while kind of grew on me and I was perfectly fine with it. As I say, the other actors, the children actors were good, were really good in this. They weren't just like plucked out of nowhere and, they couldn't act for shit. They could act. And they were really good and funny as well, and I believed them. None of them were annoying, not even the little boy. And this whole film kind of gave it this Terminator, Transformers, Guy Ritchie hybrid. You've got kind of like, it felt very Guy Ritchie on a low budget because a lot of the dialogue, using bollocks and Cockney and all that type of thing, and some of the actors, I think even one of the actors at the Resistance place was actually in one of Guy Ritchie's movies. So yeah, I was actually pleasantly surprised by robot overlords, because I mean, it is a bit misleading actually on the actual sleeve, because as you can see, you've got Big Ben there, and you've got whatever it's called. I can't remember the name of it. Is it the Gherkin or something? But nothing goes in London. You don't see those sites in London. Most of the film, I think, is set around the Isle of Man, which is kind of like a very unusual location. But it's a shame, because it makes you think that you're going to get to see these walking through London, but you never see it. So that's a bit of a letdown. But other than that, the picture quality was fantastic. It was so crisp and clear. The countryside scenes were beautiful. Nice greens and the grass and the trees. The nighttime scenes, although dark, weren't grainy. So it was very nice to see, a good use of the blacks. For this type of film, I was really impressed with the sound. With all these robots and these weird mechanical noises coming from all speakers. When the robots spoke, you have 10 seconds, it echoed and sounds were coming over your shoulder. It was a real good use of the actual soundstage. I was really pleasantly surprised. Dialogue was crisp and clear as well, so no problems with the sound or the actual the picture. This, I was really impressed with it. As I say, it's region locked B on here. It's 86 minutes, so it doesn't get to a point where it drags or gets too boring. And the sound, Dolby Digital 5.1, which kind of like upscaled it to neuro on mine. So that's probably why the actual sound was very immersive and more widespread, I suppose. There are quite a few extras which I haven't actually looked at. There's an extra called Matt Zoe, whatever that is. Robots Never Lie. I suppose it might be like a mini documentary about the making of the movie. You've got an official video, a cast book reading, which I think actually would be quite interesting. The making of, VFX, cast interviews, and MCM Comic Con. So that actually might be interesting. So they must have been at the Comic Con and had a panel there and, talked about the movie. There's lots of, up the top here, there's lots of awards and things like that. BFI London Film Festival, Trieste Science Fiction Fair, Boston Sci-Fi Film Festival. So all these different film festivals that they must have shown the film at, and they've kind of got like a seal of approval from them. And as you can see, it's giving it lots of stars down there. I would agree, I would actually give this 4 stars. But so far as Big Pauly ratings, I'm actually going to give it 7 out of 10. So yeah, it is a really good film for what it is, which is a low budget Terminator, Guy Ritchie, Transformers type film. I think I probably had more fun with this than I did Transformers The Last Night, which is not saying much really for Michael Bay these days. So yeah, so all in all, thoroughly enjoyed it. Would recommend watching it if you haven't seen it, especially if you like this type of thing. And now let's decide what we're going to do with it. Okay, so I've got a stack of Blu-rays that we've already kept. And I kind of started thinking, if I keep keeping all of these Blu-rays, it's going to take ages to actually fill the bin up. Because at the moment, we've only got 4 titles in the bin. And it's going to take ages. And I'm thinking, some of these films are really good. Some I really want to keep. Keep in my collection that I will definitely watch again. But then again, there are some of these films where I feel they were good and I gave them a thumbs up. But do I really want to keep them in the collection? How often am I going to watch them? When's the next time I'm going to watch them? They're just going to be on the shelf accumulating dust. And I'm probably pretty sure that some of them you can stream. I'm pretty sure Robot Overlords is available on Netflix. So I was just thinking maybe just keep the ones that I really want to keep. Because, it's all to do with shelf space as well and all. We've got probably 200 Poundland Blu-rays that I've got to see. and there's just not going to be the room. And I think I'm only going to keep the ones I really care about, the ones that really affected me, or the ones that are just, oh God, that's such a good film, you know, that I really think that's right up there. So what I'm going to do, let's go around this way and pick the bin up. Oh my goodness me. Okay, and then I'm going to show you what I'm going to keep and the reasons. And these are all going to go to charity, so other people are going to get good viewing out of them, I hope. And it's going to a better place, so rather than just sticking up on my shelf. So let's turn the camera around and I'll show you what we're going to keep and what we're going to let go. Right, okay, so the ones that we've already got in here are Gambit. Oh God, Extraction. Yeah, the charity shop can have that. We've got, oh God, Blood of Redemption, yes. And we've got, what is it, Fingered Freddie Heineken. Oh, Kidnapping Freddie Heineken. It's alright, but yeah. Okay, so now this is the stack that we've also seen that I've kept on the shelf. Now this was the very first one I ever reviewed. Now it's got a good cast, Henry Cavill, Sigourney Weaver and Bruce Willis. And I mainly got it for that cast. It was a good film, I enjoyed it. But like I say, is it something that I want to keep on the shelf and just go back to time and time again? I don't think it is. I am positive I saw this on Netflix or Amazon. So I'm going to put this one into the bin as well. Robot Overlord. Right, I'm going to put that one to one side. A Hologram for the King, Tom Hanks. I thoroughly enjoyed this. This was one of Tom Hanks' best films, I think, personally anyway. So that one I'm keeping. Behind the Candelabra. As much as this film was fun and fantastic performances by Michael Douglas and Matt Damon, I think I'm going to let it go. I'm willing to let that one go. The Impossible, this one is close to my heart. This one is such an emotional movie, such an emotional roller coaster. That's definitely not going in there. That's staying here. I recently watched one, Rupture, with Noomi Rapace. That was a good film. I was very impressed with that film. But like I say, is it something I'm going to revisit the next 6 months or so? So I am willing to let that one go. The last one that we saw, Cold in July, fantastic performance there by Michael C. Hall and Don Johnson as well. Comes with a nice slip. That one I'm actually keeping because that was a really good film. I really enjoyed that film. The Machine, also a good film, very unusual. Kind of a cross between like El Machina and Terminator in a way. But like I say, when am I going to see it again? And I definitely have seen this one on Netflix. And also A Most Violent Year, which was kind of like a, would you say, a poor man's Godfather sort of thing. It's a good film, really good film, but it also falls into the same category as when am I going to see it. So willing to let that go. Robot Overlords. This is a film that I am willing to watch again at some point. Don't know when though, so I'm not sure whether to keep this one or not. Well, I'll keep it because it's the most recent watch, and it'll give me a little bit of time to kind of like mull on it and analyse it and think about it, that type of thing. So I'm going to keep this one. So the ones that we're going to keep for now are Robot Overlords, Cold in July, The Impossible, and Hologram King. So we've got 4 there, and we filled up the trash with about 4 or 5. Yeah, I think it's about 5. But as I say, these were all good films, and were not worthy of going in the trash. It's just, I don't think I'm going to be watching them anytime again soon. And if I do, I'll seek them out on streaming or that type of thing, or download them off Sky, that type of thing. So we've got a bigger trash pile there, so we stand better of a chance of filling this up and getting it to the charity shop this year rather than next year. And also there's the ones that we're keeping there, so a nice manageable little bunch just on the shelf. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed my little What's in the Poundland bin today, and also my decisions about what to do with some of these titles. If you feel like I shouldn't be throwing that out, or why are you keeping that, bin it, stick it down in the comments. As I say, it is going to a good cause. It's going to a charity shop, and it's going to be one of your choice. So you're going to help donate where these are going to go once we've filled the bin up. So, yes, so that is it for today. Hope you enjoyed What's in the Poundland bin. Give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you next Sunday for another episode of What's in the Poundland bin. Bye, everyone.